Hello and welcome to Code and Magic channel. In this video series, we're going to learn what is C Sharp and how we can create different applications with it. So basically this is the first episode and we're going to learn how to set up the environment that is needed to create a C Sharp application. We're going to create application inside the console, inside the Windows console, because creating a UI application with C Sharp for beginners is more complicated than creating it in console applications. So we will teach you C Sharp in console and then you can use it in different environments. C Sharp is using .NET to create applications. So basically .NET is a free cross-platform open source framework to building modern apps for different platforms. You can see that you can create applications for web, for mobile and desktop, cloud microservices, machine learning and AI, game development, Internet of Things, and etc. And so basically C Sharp and .NET framework work together. So C Sharp is the main language that works with .NET framework. So basically C Sharp uses .NET to be able to create stuff. The both .NET and C Sharp are created by Microsoft. So these are the websites, the .NET, Microsoft.com, language C Sharp, and also this one is about information about the .NET framework. Well, to create an application with C Sharp, you need a IDE. I highly recommend to use Visual Studio. It's also available for Macintosh. So if you come to visualstudio.microsoft.com, you will see that you will be able to download it from here. Download a community version, which is free to use. There's another one which is called Visual Studio Code, which basically is just a code editor, is not an IDE. IDE is more complicated because it contains different tools and compilers, for you to be able to create more complicated applications. So if you want to use a code editor, you should set up different things for yourself to your application to work. But with IDE, most of the times it is set up for you. So after you install the Visual Studio, you probably see something like this. And you probably also see this modify window. So what you need is basically just this one, .NET desktop applications. You just need to check this one and hit the install button. And when the installation is finished, you can run the application. So basically I launch it. And as you see, this is the startup of the Visual Studio. And I need to create a new project. And here I can select something. As you see, I have different filters here for C++, for F#, for JavaScript. I can select like all languages. I can select platforms. So what I need is console application. It is for C# and it can be run on different platforms. So I select this one and I press next. In the next window, we can set the project name. I would like to call it the Hello World. And then we should select the location of the project to be saved. And I will leave it as the default. And here's the solution name. So basically solution is a container for different projects. So I would leave it as it is because I don't need different things. And also this is saying that you can, if you want to place the solution and project in the same directory. Most of the time I leave it unchecked because I would like to have different projects inside the solution. So I would press next. And here I can select the .NET framework that I'm going to use. The latest one is .NET 8, long-term support. So I would select this one. And also I will check the do not use top-level statements. The top-level statement is something new in new C# versions. So basically it has less startup code in the main class that you will create, but I don't like to do that at the moment because I want to show you what is inside the normal C# application whenever you create it. So I will press create. And this one is about like something new about the compiling and publishing the .NET applications. It doesn't need a .NET framework to be run anymore. But I will leave it unchecked because we don't need it at the moment. So I'll press create. And here I'm seeing the solution, which is called Hello World, and the project inside it, which is also called Hello World, and dependencies list, and also the program.cs. That CS means C#. So, and these are the lines inside the file, which is automatically created. So let's see what is here. The namespace Hello World is basically optional, but namespace basically something that is a container for grouping different classes and different things together. We will learn about namespaces later, but just imagine it as a container. Also, we have an internal class program. Basically, this is a class. Like we will talk about the internal later, but imagine like this is just a class. A class is also a container for data and functionality. So this is the functionality inside this class. And this functionality, this specific functionality is very special because its name is main. And the main actually is the startup of your application. Whenever you run your application, the .NET Frameworks comes here to call this function to run your program. So this is a function. And this line inside this function is trying to print something. It says console.writeLine that prints something, which is a hello world message. And then if I press this button, which is said start without debugging, it will run the application. I have also another button here, which starts the application, but with also debugging functionality. So because I don't want to debug at the moment, I just press this one. So you see the hello world message here, and also the directory of the hello world.exe file that is using to run the application, and the extra information. So let's see what is inside the main function. This line. This line is basically using console, which is a class. You remember that I told you a class is basically a container for data and functionality. And this one, the right line, is basically a function. And in C# word, we call functions methods. So basically, whenever I say method, I'm calling about function. So the right line is a method that is inside the console class. And whenever I call it, whenever I type right line and open and close parentheses with a semicolon at the end of it, I am basically calling the function with something. And here we have a list of characters. A list of characters is called a string. And a string, it starts with a double quotation. Also, it ends with a double quotation. So whatever is inside these double quotations is considered as a string. So at the end of the line, I have a semicolon, which is very necessary to have it, because if I don't have it, I cannot run my application. It says your application contains errors. Would you like to run it? I would say no. And if I come here, it says semicolon expected. If I double click on it, it will guide me through here. So I need to have a semicolon to be able to compile my application, because it is necessary at the end of each line. Not each line, but you will know at the end of each statement, basically. So if I want to type it again, I would say console. Whenever I print console, I write console, it will suggest me some stuff that is available. And also whenever I press dots, it will tell me what is inside the console. So I would like to have a write line function, write line method. And whenever I open the parentheses, it tells me it has 18 version. So basically I can pass different things here, as you see. But what I need here is the string, hello world. So at the end of the line, I'd add semicolon. So yeah, this is how it works. And we will talk about the functions, the methods, how we create them, about the class, and about everything in depth in future videos. So if you like to continue to see these videos, let me know. And if you like it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And yep, thank you for watching.